Hey kids, Mark Miller here. Welcome to another day at coding. Working here live on the composite design pattern. We are, or sorry, not composite, the command design pattern. We are wrapping that up today. Working on the final last bits of our behavior that we want to incorporate into it. At least that's my prediction. That's what I think is likely to happen. We'll find out. Fred, you good? Fred is good. Fred's in a good mood. That's awesome. Let's get up here, show you some code. Show us where, take a look at where we left off. Meanwhile, jump this back over to there, right there. There we go. Nice. Got the keyboard view going. I kind of like it. I think it's also good for reporting code rush issues because the devs can see exactly what keys I'm pressing as they go through. So if they want to take a close look at any particular thing in there, they can do that. As usual, we are working on special effects, a D&D map editor, a map editor for Dungeons & Dragons, which is typically a tabletop game. We are essentially turning that into an ESPN-like produced sports show with professional graphics all over the place. Fred is one of the players, and I don't know. How you doing, Fred? You good still? Okay. And what else do we have here? Stuff that we've built before on the show.
Lady McLovna.
Stats up here on the scroll as well. Different weapons. They show up right in front of the player. So Lady will be right over here. And that'll be right there when she rolls her attack. Looks like that.
Dealing lots of damage.
Cool effects for the dice moving away, that sort of thing. That's what we've been building. Here's our map spike application. Let's run this. Here we are. So I'll kind of do a brief overview of what we've got so far. Drop a couple of these items down here. So we can drop an item, we can rotate it, we can move it, we can resize it, we can go in and we can modify its hue. So let's rotate it this way over here, and not too much adjustment there, but now we can crank up saturation a little bit and increase contrast, that sort of thing. So we can make some changes to it like that. Flip it, bring it up and down, put some more items out in here. And I'm just kind of going through the kinds of things that we can do that we've already hooked up to Undo. And let's flip this back this way, flip it back over here. And bring to back, bring to front, bring to front. And bring this one to front. And and then there's also some items with regards to having multiple selections. So we could, for example, center all of these and distribute them horizontally like that. And now that we've done all that, we can now hit undo and kind of go through that whole process all the way back to the beginning, like that, and then go forward again like this. And so it's not bad. I'm noticing what appears to be, I just noticed one bug in that process, but in general, it's pretty good. The bug I'll notice, I'll bring you back to it where I saw the bug. The bug is here. The saturation was not that, we didn't undo the saturation of it. And I think there's a hue shift in here as well. What are we looking at there? The saturation, contrast, and light all appear to not have been restored. Let's see if we can individually make changes here and then undo them. 1, 2. Yeah, I think there's an issue with regards to hue, saturation, and light that we need to look into. Undo. Undo. Let's try again. 1, undo. That seems to work. 2, 1, 2. Yeah, there's an extra one over there. It seems like, I think there's a problem here with hue, saturation, and light. So we need to look at that, find that. Let's maybe go after that bug for a little bit, see if we can figure that out. This is the thing we were working on at the last, at the end of yesterday's show. And it has to do with the fact that we were withholding some undo entries from the stack. Essentially popping them out right here. If the interactive change was not null and the last command we executed was the same as this. So this was a kind of some code that we wrote to deal with interactive changes. We could undo that for a second here, undo that code, and see if that solves the problem. I think it's probably going to. That's my guess. Let's clear the breakpoint. We're not going to store the interactive change ID anymore. And then let's go through and now make a bunch of changes to this. Bring the saturation up, bring it down, bring it back up, bring it down, and then undo. Yeah, I'm feeling that fixes the undo redo problem. Let's try again. Bring saturation way up. Come over here, bring saturation down. Looks like we're a little off screen, so it's not drawing it. And undo, 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 undo. Yeah. Well, okay, so that solves it. So that tells us that what we were trying to do with the interactive change idea is not working. I think set a breakpoint here. Or maybe we might try this too. We're not calling execute command from anywhere else. Oh, I think I'm starting to figure out the problem. I think the problem with my logic here is some of these commands store deltas. And so if I change the color a little bit, that stores the delta from where it was to the new color. And I change it a little bit more, it then stores the new delta. But when we pop the old one, we're only having that new delta there. So, so what I really need to do is I really need to essentially undo it, is what I need to do. I need to undo that command, is what I need. I need something like this. And I think it'll work. I think that'll work. Let's just give it a shot and see what happens here. I'm going to bring this back here. And then here, we're going to add some block delimiters here. We will now get the command coming back. And then we're going to call undo on it, passing the map. That might work. C command. Yeah, we're only calling this in the forward direction. So I think that has a chance of doing it. Let's at least put it that way. Okay. Let's run it. Let's try it. Oops. Got to clear that breakpoint. This will work. Oh wait, this is not gonna, saturation. Okay, so now I'm gonna hold this down and I'm gonna adjust it forwards and backwards. And then I'm gonna release and hit undo. All right, I think that feels like it's working. Let's go to something else with color on it. Let's jump over to magic. All right, kind of a neat solution to the problem. Okay, so let's try it again here. So I'm just dragging like this, and I haven't released the mouse yet. And now I'm going to release it. And so the undo should take that hue right back to the center. Nice. And then forwards, Control Shift, there you go. Z takes us forward, or the redo is there. I think that's fixed it. And there's not really any perf issue with it. When we call that undo, we're not updating the screen or doing anything along those lines because we don't need to. It's just changing the data. So I feel like that's the solution. Here, let's drop the saturation a little bit. I still got the mouse down on it. Now I'm releasing it. Let's change lightness. And let's change the contrast as well. We'll drag this over. So we should just have a few entries in the undo stack now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that should bring it, yeah, and then back to center. There it is. Okay, good. That's fixed. I like fixed bugs. Fixed bugs are good. Next, okay, now we're going to talk about grouping. So this is like the last thing, right? It was really interesting. Adding support for something as simple as deleting an item was a little bit tricky. We worked through that yesterday, and I think our solution is good. If you didn't see that, you want to take a look at yesterday's show for sure on that, because we talked about what happens, how do we reconstruct it. The trick isn't a delete and then a redo, or then an undo on the delete to bring it back. The real trick is this, oh, wait, I'm trying to do a show. Why are you bringing that in on me? Not again. Pudding? Seriously, Pudding? How could you, Pudding? How could you do that? Pudding's coming in saying, guess who? It's not a show without Pudding. How's it going, Mark? I think it's going pretty well. Here's Karen over here. You can see her red glasses showing up. They kind of match your moniker color. There she is. That's a woman who makes it all possible.
What am I making possible?
No, I don't know, the
We
show.
needed some coding.
You brought the show. You brought the show to the people. The people are like, Karen, you're so good. So good. What's going on with my... I'm trying to figure out these scroll bars. Oh, they just disappeared. Okay, so I don't need to worry about them anymore.
You don't have my peacock. I need to go say something.
Do you want to... Or you follow the rules, or we can make a special exception.
Can I use the force?
Yeah, you can use the force if you want.
Mm.
It kind of matches your colors. Look at this. The peacock should have glasses, though, I think. He makes everything possible. He just makes you getting into a PhD possible.
Got it. Bam.
She's on it.
You know where I'm from. Men have PhDs. You don't know any more than you know yourself.
Really?
Tep pudding.
Tip pudding.
They have something you don't, though, and it's a piece of paper. Go
It's a
get one.
diploma. Here you go.
All right, I'm leaving.
I don't know, a piece of paper up here, really. Wait, what's this? Here we go. I got that.
Give him this.
All right, wait. Isn't this personally identifiable information? Will you stop with this? Stop doing this. This is Karen. She takes a picture in front of cross sections of the street signs, right? So she's got the exact location. She says, "I'm here every day," like that. At this time, okay, I can do that. That does not look personally identifiable. But also, contrast is so low on this, you can't really see the image.
You gotta put it right up there to the camera.
I can't do that, but let me try this. Let's switch over to the keyboard camera. The keyboard camera might get it.
Clever.
Ooh, there it is.
That's what happens when a 10-year-old tries to draw an eyeball.
Who did that?
One of my art students.
Did you tell him that, you're laughably dumb because the eye doesn't actually come up there?
That's called a guideline. We erase that when we're done.
Yeah.
I say don't be afraid to make guidelines.
Okay. There, I can bring that a little closer to the camera there. There
I love
we
what
go.
your teaching advice is. Did you tell them that
They were dumb?
dumb?
Well, I would my approach is, kind of controversial. Why is there an empty box of keto cookies on my fridge?
What?
What are you doing? That's my private stash. Will you come? Oh my God, she's in trouble. That girl is in trouble. All right. So it's going pretty good. Wait. What stands for Pizza Hut delivery? Oh, PhD. Got it. But I don't really want to deliver pizza, so you got to go with the other PhD. I gotcha. I gotcha. So I was talking about deleting and going forward. So here's the deal. We make a change. We make it blue, right? Drag it over here, purple, right? So I've gone forward to do that. Now, so the undo to make it purple knows to work on that particular item. But what happens when I undo the drop, and now it's gone. And whatever. Then I go forward, and now it's here. And then I go forward, and I go forward, and now I get to the point where all these moves are happening on it, and now I've got to change its color. You know what's interesting though? This doesn't look like it's in the same spots. I feel like there's another minor issue with this whole thing, because this was certainly down here when we started this. Undo, redo. There's the piece down there. I feel like the problem occurred right around here in the drop. There's my redos. Huh. I don't know. I have to isolate that. We'll go after that, I think, at a later time. But this is the problem we solved yesterday. Is what happens when we bring that back in, and can we make changes to it? And the essence of this problem solve is we gave each item a GUID, and we gave each command the ability to work on GUIDs, stamps that were GUIDs. And so that's what we built in. All right, so now let's go approach the next problem, which is grouping and ungrouping. Grouping and ungrouping is similar to deletion. So if I select these two and delete them, and then I hit undo to bring them back, there they are right there. One thing that just occurred to me we did not try is Z-order based deletions to see so let's shift both of these, control drag them to make a duplicate, and do the, and whoops, I wanted to do it one more time. Like this. And looks like I had that one of those in the wrong C order there. And maybe not. Hard to tell. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I can't group these yet. Delete that. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I've got those 5 there. I was going to group those. Just delete that one. Okay. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to delete both of these and then hit undo and see if they showed up in the right Z order, because I don't remember checking that out before. So we can see the layering here. These are in between the other 3. So I'm going to hit delete on those 2, then I'm going to hit undo. Make sure they show up in the right Z order. They do. Okay, good. I wanted to verify that. And I suppose we could also do something similar with these kids right down in here as well. Do that. So 1, 2, 3, delete those, and then hit undo, and they show up in the right Z order. Good. All right, so grouping. Let's talk about grouping. First, let's look at how we're currently doing it. Call Ungroup Selection. So we're collecting the stamps that we need to group from the selected stamps. We remove all the selected stamps from the map. We create a new stamp group. This is troublesome. At a low level, this is troublesome. What are we doing with the stamp group? We're calling selected stamps.add. So here's what we need. We need a function. I'm going to have to stop this because we need to redefine map. Stamp group is high level, and map and the commands are low level. We don't want them to know about a stamp group because a stamp group's got intimate knowledge about UI related things. We just don't need that. Like, it's got an image, and we don't want that or need that. So we're going to need to preserve that and protect that layering where high-level classes are in one assembly and low-level classes are in another. This part of the process needs to be decoupled. So what we need instead is something like this. Stop it, stop the app, and we need something that says map.createGroup. Put that in map, because map is low level. We're going to say map create group, like this, and we're going to pass in the stamps to group. And we're going to change the type of the return type to iStamp properties, which is this kind of low-level interface. Okay? So that's kind of where we need to be. Now, let's go ahead and do that. Okay. I think we are going to need an event in here to do this. That's what I think we're going to do. Let's move this type to file. Let's come in here and create an event args descendant. And we're going to call this create group event args. Like that. And we need the iStamp properties. We're looking for kind of two pieces of information in here. We need that, and we need a property called group, like that. So that's what we need. We need a constructor that just takes the stamps in. Those are going to be what we're going to populate the group with, and then the event handler is going to assign group a value. Cool. Here's my group event args. Let's create a delegate for that. Create group event handler. There's my create group event args on that. Let's create a new event for it. Like that. Scroll that up so you can see it. Call that create group. Creating group. Like that. And let's create an event trigger for that. This on creating group. Okay. I don't think we need these. I think what we can pass in instead is the iStamp properties list of those. Like that. And we'll call those the stamps to group. Like that. And then inside of here, we're going to create a new event arg like that, and we're going to pass in the stamps to group. And no, I think it's going to look more like this. I'm radically changing this whole thing right here. This, and then we're going to come in with return EA dot group. Go ahead, ask away, Alibaba. Do it. Let's convert to function. I'll tell you what I know. And this is going to be public. Like that. Okay. So there's create group. Good. Next on our map, we want an event handler on this. Let's go find where we're hooking up our other event handlers to it. There it is. So we're going to come down here. We're going to say map dot creating group plus equals to map creating group. And then here is where we want to say new stamp group, because we're up in the high level now, like this. I thought there was an add. What do I guess I have to come in here and say add? EA. Wait, you don't want to add range. EA.stamps. And then say EA dot group equals, well, we could actually do this. Like that. Can we not do that because the type isn't the right type? Okay, hold on. we'll get it. Because the type, that was because the type of stamp E8 group is iStamp properties. So we can't, that's why we couldn't work with it directly. Okay, so that's map creating group. And I think that's what we need to do. Let's go back to where we were. Group. C# seems super duper complicated. Do you have any suggestions on learning it? Like, should I learn another language first? And how would I go about learning the live coders group? You guys seem awesome. Learning the live coders group. I'm not sure what you mean learning about us or something like that. Actually, I am like not as deeply knowledgeable at the live coders group as a lot of people. We have a Discord group and I'm not in that much. But I'll tell you what I know. First of all, I would, if you haven't already followed C# Fritz, I would totally follow C# Fritz. He is awesome and fun to watch. You would definitely want to take a look at that guy. He's over here at twitch.tv/ let's make sure you do. Excellent. So yeah, Jeff is doing some amazing stuff out there. Joining. Oh, sorry. Okay. So to join, there is a, and again, there's a live coders. Let me see if I can find it. See if Google can help me out. Live coders application on GitHub. See what we get out here. That looks like it might be good, useful. I'll put the link in here. Here you go. Look at that. Information about live coders and how to join the team. So step one, go there. There's an application that you can fill out. We're looking for like essentially a couple things. We're looking for you're already streaming, you're already coding, and you are essentially bringing positivity into the space. So you're excited about code, you're excited about technology, that sort of thing. So we're looking for that. And I think we're also looking for you're doing it on a regular basis as opposed to sporadic. So that sort of thing. That's kind of what we're looking for. And when I say we, it's not really me. I'm not really, involved at all in the saying yes or no. Like I say, I'm like only marginally peripherally involved with the team, not as deeply as a lot of other folks who are. But I'm certainly happy to help anybody else out. Okay, so Pudding is asking, what if my stream is full of mature content and adult language? I think you can still get in, but you still got to be bringing something. And I don't code there yet. So yeah, it's got to be some. It doesn't have to be restricted to coding. It can be some technology kind of thing too. But if you're just playing games, yeah, it's I think not going to happen. It's got to be something creative that you're doing on a regular basis to kind of fit into that group. So that's kind of what it is. That's my knowledge of it. And I would ask on Jeff's stream as well to see what his point of view is, because Jeff is deeply immersed into the team, and so are a lot of other folks. Okay, so there you go. I'll put that link out into the chat room. Oh, looks like I already did that. Perfect. Okay, so we were back over in the group. What was it? Button group. Goes to group selection. Oh, thank you so much. You're welcome. My pleasure. Okay. So create group, map.create group. What is not working here? Stamps to group. Call is ambiguous. I've got two create groups in here. I think I have this one here and the second one there. Yeah, that I was going to build, and I didn't end up building it. Okay. All right, so there's my create group. And at this point, I just want to run it and see if it still works without undo yet. Just that refactoring, verify that my grouping is still grouping. There's some UI stuff at the end here that we need to kind of figure out right there. UI related stuff, we can't really pop that down. Okay, I'm so tired of looking at all of these every time we start up. Let's go to some bones. Grab some, pop these down like this and like that. And let's let me get these arranged like I want. Like that. All right, now let's select them all, 1, 2, 3, and hit Control G to group. Okay, not quite what I wanted. Something's not working. It's not getting the size of it. What did I do wrong here? What did I change? I think I missed something here. I think. Yeah, it's not getting its dimensions correct. I think my problem is in my create group handler. I think I didn't bring the code over the way I the way I thought it should go. So here's my handler here. I bet it's different from what we started. I called stamp group.create stamps to group, and here I'm doing something different. This is my problem. Okay, so I need to be inside of my handler up here. That's it. And now that I have that, now I can just come in and simplify this whole thing to that. Okay, I bet that fixes it. Let's run it and try it. Okay. Let's create some gravestones here. Control G to group. There we go. All right, I'm going to call that working. Let's just double check. I'm going to make a copy of it, select both, group again. Then I'm going to hit ungroup, and then I'm going to hit ungroup again. Looks good. And then group one more time. Looks like it's working perfectly. Okay. While we're at this decoupling of dependencies, let's go... let's look at ungroup selection. Well, we're going to have a couple problems. We have these two problems here. We need to figure this out. What's happening is we specify what's on the selection. I have ideas on how we can fix this. All right, let's look down here on what's happening here. Well, this line is a problem right here immediately because we've got oh wow, ungroup stamped is actually uncharacteristically large. What's ungroup stamps? What's it got inside of it? This could actually go to low-level stuff. Oh no, it has this. But we could change this to be an iStamp properties, and it wouldn't break the code. But then we'd have to change this to iStamp properties probably, and that would break the code. That's potentially problematic. So remove. That's not problematic there. That can be an iStamp properties. Oh, is that it? All right, let's do this. Let's consider prepping this for low level like that. And let's run it again. Just make sure, verify that grouping and ungrouping still work. Got Rory Becker coming in about 20 minutes. Let's grab some stuff from the market here. We'll group those elements here. Okay, apologies to any vegetarians watching the show. All right, here goes the group. Here comes the ungroup, and it looks like it's working. Let's group again. Let's duplicate it, select both, group again. Cool. And then ungroup. There's the two. And ungroup again. Cool. So yeah, that works. So that means we can take ungroup stamps and move it down if we need to. And it's kind of feeling like it might be useful. We still need to figure out if a stamp is if one of these is a group or not, because the new ungroup stamps, well, that just needs to know what that piece is. Stamp group.ungroup. What's that do? It's a very specific method on stamp group. It moves the stamps back into the positions they need to be put into and adds it to this list. Okay, I got an idea. Let's create an interface for iGroup. For stamp group here. Let's all right, and let's grab the pieces we need at least, and we'll put them inside of here. And then what we can do is over in here, we can say, hey, if it's an iStamp group instead, an iStamp group then is going to be implementing iStamp properties. And maybe also iStamp, which I think also implements iStamp properties. Yeah, it does. All right, so we're just going to do this like that. And then we're going to do this like that. Okay? So there's our group. All right, back over here again. Stamp group needs the ungroup method, and I think that's all we need. Sweet. Let's go find the ungroup and put it in there. That's what we're looking for right there. There we go. This we need to bring down low. That's going to go down low. Let's throw it somewhere in this space here. Uh-oh, uh-oh. Where's iStamp? No, no, no. Oh! Okay, hold on. This is just going to be iStamp properties then, like that. Then we need to come back up to group, stamp group, and that's got to be iStamp and iStamp group. Like that. I think that's going to work. Okay. Code looks like it's still compiling. Let's run. Just double check. So yeah, we're just kind of refactoring, taking our original code that's kind of very dependent on both UI and low level and making it only low level code if we can. That's what we're trying to do. Okay, there's the group. Here comes the drag. Select both. Control G to group again. Control U, I think, is ungroup. Yep, look at that. All right. Control G, and then they're all grouped again. Okay, cool. Cool. All right. So I'm pretty sure now all of this can move down. Ungroup stamps. Did I move that down? I did not. Let's move that down to map core. Change its namespace to map core. So hold on a sec. We are adding the selection here. I want to see what's going on. We've got a couple in our execute command. If we work on stamps, we do begin update end update stamp selection. Clear selection after redo. I think what I want to do is I want to take selected stamps, which is right now I'm holding it here, and I want to move it down to the map because it's in the wrong space. I'm going to let the map hold the selection. At first I thought, no, the UI should hold the selection. But now I disagree with that. We don't have to serialize it. That's okay. But if the map holds it, then we can do more things with it. We can manipulate and modify it. So let's do that. That's going to be a bit of a heavy refactoring because we're using it like all over the place. Like that is kind of what I want to change this to. Can we do this? Can we do... Let's do whole word case sensitive, and let's do a replace all. $63 occurrences. And I'm sure we've got code that's broken somewhere in here. Let's go see if we can find the code that's broken. I'm looking for not there. All right, let's do this. Let's go back. our history where we were. There it is. That's what I'm looking for. That piece. We're going to take that. Hold on. Let's go find this. Cut it. Move it close. This anywhere else? Nope. Okay, cool. Good. Let's go back to map. This is where it should be anyway. I'm happier with this. And we'll pop this on here. Whoops. That's not where I wanted to be. Let's get that to its own file. Pop it right in here. So there's our selected stamps. Way better. Okay. Let's go back out. Let's do a build to see what our problems are. See if we got any, if everything's just working. Build succeeded. Okay, that's good news. Let's go find a clear selection after redo. Now what I want to do is I want to take this and go put it in right after the redo. That's what I want to do. Okay, where else do we have this? Is it only in the delete? It's only in the delete. So that means we now clean up these two lines of code here. And now we've got symmetry again, which looks way better right there. Happy with that. Symmetry is really good when you're writing code. It makes code easier to read and understand for the next person who's going to come along and work on it, or yourself later on. Let's see. Okay, let's go back into Ungroup Selection. All right, so here we are. Yeah, now we're working with the map. Selected stamps, add stamp. I think all of this is going to come across and work. So now, cool. All right, so now we've got group selection and ungroup selection. Just gonna put these right next to each other. Let's create our, we don't need, oh, we also want to go, let's go remove the redo, clear selection after redo. Now I'm pretty sure this is not being used anywhere. We can now delete that and clean that up better. Okay, now let's create a command. Let's see, what do we want to do here? Is the order command? No, not needed there. Base stamp absolute value command. I think it's just a base stamp command descendant is what I think it is. And we're going to call this group stamps command. And we're going to have another one called, let's actually implement it first before I make a duplicate of it. And this one's going to be called the ungroup stamps. Like that. Okay, let's put these in their own files. And it's one of the things I really like to do on the show a lot. I like to push the boundaries of edit and continue. So instead of writing the code now, we're going to run it, and we're gonna have And if everything, we're first going to test our grouping changes, our refactoring to make sure grouping and ungrouping still work. But they're not going to participate in the undo redo stack. Then we're going to go in without restarting the app, using only edit and continue. The plan is to come in and refactor it. If we've done everything, all our prep work correctly, we should be able to do that without stopping the app. So in other words, we start the app and edit and continue. We start the app and grouping and ungrouping are not in the undo and redo stack. And before we close the app, they will be, and it'll be working. That's the challenge. So here we go. Run. All right, here we go. Plants are kind of big, so I have to kind of resize them. I know, you're probably just like, come on, Mark. Just let me know if they, just let me know if they ungroup or not. There we go. I know, but I want them pretty. Get some pretty colors here. Fine. So there we go. We got some colors, different trees. Shift click, group. Grouping still works. Ungroup. Group again. Let's resize this, make it smaller. Let's now take this, control drag it. Let's flip it. Let's shift click over here. Group one more time. Here's my group. Let's undo the group and ungroup one more time. And there we go. So we've now verified the grouping and ungrouping work, but they're not connected at all with undo and redo. In fact, if I start undoing, what kind of mess do we get in? Just those changes right there. The first kind of 3 changes where we drop them in. The duplicated of the group isn't even there because we don't know how to duplicate a group, I think. My redo, let's see what my redo is doing. Yeah, there's my redo. So yeah, not quite where we want it to be. So let's go in and get grouping and ungrouping working. So let's start by setting a breakpoint in group selection. We'll start here. You did miss the pudding dessert.
He's in the house.
Thanks for the flyby, Jessam. Glad you're here, buddy. Okay, so I'm just like playing with the trees here, color a little bit. Let's select both of these and let's group them. Okay, so now what I want to do Codebase Alpha's here. Welcome, Codebase Alpha. Excuse me, and glad you're with us. Okay, so we are right now in the process of doing something like this. Execute command Group. Rory,
Hello.
how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good.
And am I? Looks like I'm a little frozen on sending to you. Stuttering a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
You know,
That could be bandwidth at my end, though.
I don't think it is.
No?
No, I noticed it this morning after upgrading Windows yesterday, that NDI was slower after the restart. So, not good. You're gonna have to look at the stream. It looks like it is. It is really, yeah. There's a
Up and down, yeah.
yeah, and it's immediately after upgrading Windows, NDI had problems, and it continues to have problems today. Did not have these any of the other days. So I'm like, oh, really? Come on. So.
Okay. We'll see how
So
it goes then.
that's kind of where we are. So we're putting the groups in there. Pudding says hello out to you. Pudding says, wow,
Hello, everybody.
everyone's popping in at the same time. That's because
I know.
Rory's the real star. Isn't that right, Fred?
Yes.
Yeah, Rory's the real star. He is. He is. So we are,
Hello.
yeah, no, welcome. We are, we're in edit and continue right now. My favorite place to be.
Favorite of ours, yeah.
I like to push it hard. Pudding says we like you too. I know that's what everybody says. That's what they say when you know when we get invitations to go places. They're like, make sure you bring your wife, and then in parens, we like you too, Mark. So anyway, so we're in edit and continue, and I want to. I've got a group command out here somewhere. Let me sort of marker there and say, let's go to, what is it, group command, group stamps command, right here. I'm just going to do this and this. I don't think we have to prep here at all for the undo, because the undo is just we're going to call ungroup. That's what we're going to do.
Cool.
That's like when you have to wingman for someone with the cool girl. Frank said, just like Fred said, thumbs up. Excellent. So it's, did I copy that to the, I want it to be group stamps like that. And I'm pretty sure all of this goes away. What about this update stamp selection UI call? Is that going to happen? I called there. Let's happening. Yeah, it's already happening automatically for me in execute command. So we don't need that anymore. And I think it's just this stuff goes in there. Is what I think it does. The problem is my opposite of the group is the ungroup, which is going to be in a different class. The way I've done it, the way I've built it. So I'm not sure, and Roy, you seem super quiet. I'm not sure if you are muted or not.
No, I'm taking it all in. So you've got your facilitation for doing grouping, which you're moving into a command. But as you quite rightly point out, if you're going to have a group and an ungroup that are the opposite of each other, you kind of need a base class to hold the mechanics of that.
Yeah, I think so. Or I need one class that can do both, and the data tells it which direction to go in.
Seems fair.
That's what I think it is. So I think I'm kind of not going to be able to. Will I be able to do this in edit and continue? Maybe I will. All right, let's. The problem is I want a class. I want a different name for the class. Is the problem. I'm going to have to, I think I'm going to have to kill it because I don't want to actually use edit and continue with the class name I don't want to use anymore. So let's do this. Let's kill it. Let's go find ungroup stamps command. Let's kill that. Let's go back to group stamps command. And we're going to call this ungroup group stamps or something group and ungroup stamps command. Is that too weird? Stamp grouping command. Let's do this. Let's call it stamp grouping command like that. And then let's add an enum. group operation. Let's give it ungroup, well, sorry, group and ungroup, like that. Okay, then that's what I think we're going to do. Let's rename this file to match the type. What else do we want to do? I think that's all we need to do here. Let's put this in its own file. And let's
That
run.
seems to be certainly the prep. As you say, you want to do as much as possible in edit and continue. It gives that extra level of information. It's like the difference between sort of a text file and a text file with IntelliSense. So much is the gap between doing that and with running data.
Yeah.
It gives it extra informed experience.
And how am I doing? Am I relatively smooth to you, Rory, across Skype, or is the NDI
It seems
freezing?
to have gotten a bit better, yeah.
All right. Let me know if that goes up or down. I'm interested to know if it gets worse or better. Okay, let's get a good background on here because, you know, because I like to have good backgrounds.
All about the style of finesse, aren't we?
Yeah, I want this to look good, for goodness sakes. Our reputations are on the line once again. Okay, so let's grab some books, I guess. I don't know. Throw these out here on the floor. I want to group these books together like that. I'm tired of this green cover though. I want to change it to fine purple. That light blue right there will do that. I'm also similarly tired of this one. Drop the saturation down a little bit. There we go. Actually, I want to bring the contrast up. Nice, look at that. I actually like this, by the way, this implementation of contrast. I'm pretty happy about this. I just kind of figured this out. And it's probably not the most pro version of contrast out there, but I kind of like, it's kind of clever, and I like the kind of the end result of it. Okay, so now I want to group these. So I'm going to hit the group button and should get, hopefully, to here. Cool. Okay. Then I think I'm okay with this check before, right here. Then I want to take all of this in, cut that to the clipboard, and then I want to actually have this be group operation dot, and here's Rory's going to be like, Mark, for the last 2 days you've been creating classes that were wrappers for simple types. And now, whoops, that's not the one I want. I want the data. Uh-oh. But now we have a problem because, well, I guess it'll figure it.
Type or data.
No, I think it'll be okay. I think it'll figure out this is the one I want to send it to. It's not there. So I'm basically going to just pass in the enum for the data this time. Because I was contemplating wrapping a class around it, and we don't really need to do it for this one, I think.
Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
You okay? You look like you want to change something.
What do you mean?
Karen walks in the room every once in a while. She's an artist, and she's like, I want something to change.
Yeah.
And I'm always like nervous the finger's going to point to me, and she's going like,
ducks.
you, get out of here.
I'm looking like I want to change something because your walls are all white. What's going on?
They need to reflect light, honey.
Silver?
You got the whole house. Go outside and do the look. It's not
It's
not
come
a look.
into
It's not
your
okay.
Ice palace because I am hot.
Mm.
We live in Costa Rica and it's hot out there, and he lives in an ice palace of computers and air conditioning. So
I love the way Karen says that, like she's expecting sympathy. I'm in UK
What'd
right
you
now,
say,
and
Rory?
it's freezing.
Rory just said he has a lot of sympathy for you, and you are the master of all things.
I don't think he said that.
He did say
you know
that.
this is recorded, right?
Okay. All right. Back to the code. Let's get
Sure,
back to the code.
let's do that.
How did we lose our music? Anybody know?
I do not recall there being music when I joined.
Okay. Well, here we are. All right. So we're going to say execute command. Send that operation in. That's going to be the group. And now what I want to do is over in my stamp grouping command, I got breakpoint. So I'm going to just run until we get to the breakpoint.
Bang. Oh dear.
Oh, I specified the wrong name.
Oh, so it is.
It's the
We
wrong
changed
name.
the class, just not the
Code, yeah.
the
Let's see if
execution.
we
of
can.
the-
Let's see if we can get right about. Oops, right here. Setting statement. Can I do it? Thought I said it. Set next statement to there. There we go. F10. And we're gonna get out. That's gonna do a big fat nothing. What did I want to do? I called it
You need to change the
stamp
string in
grouping.
front of you. Yeah.
All right, one more time. Run. Breakpoint. Boom. Activate redo. We want to now create two methods in here. One is called group selection, like that. Group selection is going to do this. Oh no, 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 no. Hold on, we can fix part of these right here. That rename to map. There we go. But here we are going to have to, we can't do a using. We can't do a using because you know.
It affects the context
Edit and
of the whole
continue.
file, and he doesn't like that.
By the way, if I was on the edit and continue team and I had like a Jeff Bezos budget, it would be awesome. It would do amazing things. I actually proposed to the CodeRush team a while back that we take up edit continue where the limits are that Visual Studio stopped it at. And you know, I was about to say every once in a while I propose something to the team that makes them go like, huh? And but it's really, that's not really true. It's more true to say frequently I propose things to the team. We're like, what? And they were like, Mark, that is like a rabbit's hole of problems. That is a hornet's nest of problems waiting to come and get you. And I'm like, yeah, I kind of know. I understand it's challenging, and you know, I understand what we have to do. You know, to make it work. I understand it's the safety net approach, right? Where you have to have many different threads of code built to save you and protect you. But anyway, the team ended up convincing me that it was, for the moment, economically infeasible. In other words, the resources.
Not quite the right time.
Yeah, it was in the effort, the effort required versus the anticipated payback was not something we want to do in the short term. So it's kind of on the back burner. But one of the things I was going to do is this problem was not going to be here anymore. We were going to fix this. And I had this really clever idea for how we could work around the limitations that were already in it. Very clever stuff. You know me. I'm the guy who
Oh, yeah.
I'm the guy who drops images into code. In fact, let's see if we can do this right now. Let's come over here. Let's grab Codebase Alpha's Codebase hype here. Let's copy that. Can we? Did it copy it as an image? Look at that.
There we
Codebase Alpha.
Famous, dude. Well, more famous. Fractionally.
Look at you. You're in the code, dude. Look at that. That's awesome.
Woohoo.
Yeah, with all kinds of stuff that we can do. All right, so let's go back to 100%. Yeah, so I'm that guy. That's me. So of course, yeah, we can come up with clever ways to solve problems. And yeah, I would have all kinds of things, all of the limits in edit continue that seem practical and normal. We would just blow right past those. They would be obliterated, exploded. Speaking of exploding, I want to see if I can get some dice rolls out here because I'm really liking.
My balls.
So this is one of the weapons that we have in the game here. Hold on a second. I want to see if I can see if this the dice.
That's a hit.
Clear the dice. Nope, not that one. Hold on. Let's do it over here.
Working.
I have a new dice removal animation that I'm really liking, especially the sound effects of it. Let's see if we can get it going. That one. That one. That's what we're going to do to the limitations of edit and continue. Uh-oh. Wild magic check. Rolled a 1. Oh, no. not good. Frank's out there with us. Frank, how you doing?
Cast levitate on yourself.
All right, let's hide that scroll bar right there. Let's clear those dice. When you have to wingman. Oh yeah, wait, that's the old one. All right. Okay, so back to players over here. Anyway, back over to here. So now what I want to do is I want to do something like this. If data is group operation.
Yep.
Then and then we want to do this. Switch operation, if it's group and we're redoing, in other words, moving forward, then we want to call group selection. I love how you're saying yep, Rory, because you're like...
I'm agreeing. It's all
you're
absolutely true.
You're totally getting it. You're like, yeah, this is... I totally get where you're going, Mark.
Indeed.
And then we want to do this in the undo. I think we just are going to do a simple reverse of these.
The opposite, yeah. Which leaves us just having to implement the ungroup selection, which, presuming the same logic is true, we will have to be. We have some code to copy from elsewhere, as we did here.
Yeah, and it's like we're done. It's like we're like, oh my gosh, is it
If
really
you build
this easy?
things architecturally brilliantly, as clearly has been done, then all the little bits fall into place just very easily.
Yeah. So let's see if we've done that. So this is all the code for ungroup. And let's just put a marker here. We'll come back. Let me paste this.
Codebase Alpha says, please, if that's the result, don't mess with edit and continue. I'm not entirely sure what you meant, but I've got this image in my head that if you were in charge of edit and continue, we'd get wild magic displays every time we tried to do something. That sounds quite entertaining.
It's okay. Yeah, that can happen. All right. So again, these lines have got to be long because we didn't have, we weren't using this, and we're in edit continue land, so we're kind of limited a little bit. Yeah, but I would totally blow that one away. That would be blown away. Let's do this. We're going to, whoops. Let's call this map, and then we're going to rename it to the lowercase now. Come down here. Boom. Good. We don't need the begin update. We don't need the try finally or the end update or the update stamp selection UI because that's all covered for us automatically by the architecture.
Yep.
And I think, holy cow, is all of this compiling? Is it really going to be this easy? All right, let's see what happens. Let's step through it. Look at that. It all compiles, kids. Group selection.
First step.
I'm doing, this is how bold I am, Roy. I'm staking my
Full faith.
entire reputation on all of that code. We just did a group of these, right? And now I'm going to ungroup them. And now I'm going to group them. And now I'm going to control drag them. And then I'm going to select both. And I'm going to group them again. What's that you say? You want me to undo and test it? Okay. Uh-oh. Did it work? Undo, undo, undo. Oh, look at that.
Oh,
It
there we
worked.
go.
Undo. I think we need to do some selection though. Undo, 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 undo. Oh, my reputation is destroyed. I'm hitting undo and there's nothing left to do here. Why is that?
Well, do we have anything for
I
the
know why.
duplication?
The control drag is
Yeah.
not undoable. That's the thing. We haven't implemented that. That's happening.
Well, so we didn't do a fair test, is what you're saying. So we should start with the objects, group them.
All right, let's do that.
Group some of them, and then group that with more things.
Yeah, let's do that. So now we have two items here, okay? Just to prove that we've got undo and redo now working. When I control drag, I blow the undo stack integrity. But let me undo, 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 undo. So now I haven't, uh-oh. Sequence contains no elements. Stamps. So let's do this. If this dot count equals 0. That I think is from the drag, control drag, so I'm going to not worry about this for now. I'm just going to get out. Um, 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 um,
I'm wondering if we don't have just a highly corrupted stack at this point, because there's all kinds of operations that we maybe didn't.
yeah.
I don't know what happens when that control drag happens. Do we literally reset some internal stuff, or
No, we just do a copy. We create some new stuff that didn't exist before, and
so there's extra stuff hanging around, but the original stuff is still there. So
Yeah.
in theory, yeah, it's like cloning something halfway through a sequence. The sequence itself is the only thing that's affected by the undo.
Let me try this for a second. I'm optimistic we might be able to get out of this. I'm trying to stay inside edit and continue right now. You're right, Rory. I got 4 more of these to write. Do I? I think.
Well, is it useful to have them anyway? If so, then why not just press on? But
Yeah,
especially if there is
the problem is the group. I've got a group with no children in it. Is what's happening right now. So we can.
which isn't a normal thing to have.
Right.
So you're coding to get out of a situation, then you have to remove the code because, well, then
Well,
have to.
I don't. I can keep it. Let's just run through first or defaults here. Let's see what else we get. Let's run.
Codebase Alpha says if stamps any, or if not stamps any.
Like that.
That's the one. Yep.
Okay, we'll do that one. It's not too hard to add these. I just want to see if I get out of here how it's going to be. But yeah, I am in a corrupted state. I think you're right. I'm going to have to. Well, maybe not. Okay, so there's our group with no entries in it. So one more time. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to say this is our good state. I think. Like this.
So despite what we're about to do, getting back to a pile of 6 books is our sort of furthest back we want to try to go.
Right, so I've grouped these, I've flipped them. So I've got a group here. I'm going to shift click on this up here, and I'm going to group that. And now I'm going to hit undo. And I hit it, but I don't see it undoing. I need to select the group. I feel like I am doing it. Undo, undo, undo. What's happening? Oh, yeah, I think I know what's happening. I'm not selecting. I have to select. The problem is when I...
Right, because the group and ungroup expect to work on a selection.
Yeah, the ungroup does specifically, right? Heidi, hi.
Copper
Howdy ho.
Beardy is in the house.
Copperbeardy shared some photos of his sunflowers sprouting on Twitter the other day.
Nice.
Very cool stuff. He's got the one that's got the most sprouts on it. He's either calling it Code Rush or Overkill Productions, one of the two. That's the name of that one.
Cool.
Because it's got 3 sprouts as opposed to the others just have 1. So yeah, I think there's a problem with the ungrouping here because there's no selection here. The selected stamps clear, selected stamps add to stamp group. So when we do it, that part works. When we ungroup, though, we need to know which ones are selected. I think we need to set some breakpoints in here.
Doesn't
this
that
out.
mean that any previous... Well, okay, so if we group something and then move the result, then we unselect. We leave everything alone. The undo of the move needs to leave things in a selected state so that the further undo of ungroup will have something to ungroup.
Yeah, maybe. The other thing I'm worried about, I'm thinking about is this is, I think, different from just selected stamps. So in other words, the selected stamps is maintained by the architecture, I believe.
So the other way to do
Um,
it is if you didn't rely on selected stamps but named stamps, so you had the GUIDs for these items
We
and they
are.
were stored.
What I'm saying is the architecture does support that. What I'm
Okay.
suggesting is we remove this, and that might fix the problem. So let's kind of play with it a little bit and see what happens here. So if I hit ungroup right here, we're going in the forward direction for this, and I do this instead, because I want this to work in both directions, forward and reverse.
Yeah.
And I just want to do a search to see if there's any other map.selected stamp in here. There's here in group selection. I think I want to do this as well because these are maintained.
Okay.
Is what I believe is the truth. Yeah, I think the problem is I'm like, my brain's starting to go a little bit like, oh no, am I not thinking this through clearly enough? Because we are coming in, notice we're changing the selection in the group, right? So when we do the undo, what we really want to do almost is we want to say, I think we need to store this. If we're moving in the forward direction, our backwards direction, our restore point is the stamp group. That's the new selection. That's what I'm thinking. I think what I want to do I'm playing with the idea of taking selected stamps and modifying it and then have the architecture see if it's changed. And if it's changed, then the architecture goes out and does this automatically for me. So all I need to do, this code in here becomes simply selected stamps.clear followed by selected stamps.add group. Like that.
Okay, yeah.
And then now we have that selection, and because we have the selection, when we do the undo, that's now there. Oh man, this is hard to, my tiny brain is not conceiving of the forward and back implications of what the selection should be. Let's take this a step at a time so my tiny brain can wrap its head around this. I think if we're moving,
Always a good plan.
Yeah, let's move forward with the group, and let's do the group and the ungroup and get those working. I'm just going to do a run for right now. I'm going to set a breakpoint rather on the group instead, and so that we can kind of think this through and see what we're going to do here on this. Let me ungroup this, and now we have 3 items, 1, 2, and 3. And now I want to come in here and I want to group those. So I'll hit Control G. When I group these, no matter what's selected, I need to know that this is the thing I'm undoing for the ungroup. So ungroup selection, yeah, I think ungroup selection needs to change. In fact, yeah, I think it needs something like, here, let's do this. I'm going to kill it. We're going to remove type qualifier on all of these fields, on all these declarations right here. And I'm pretty sure ungroup selection needs to really be this, stamps to ungroup. Because there's 2 different ways we need to do it. Going forward, where we take what is selected, and then a undo, which is where we take just the stamp group and pass it in as an element of a list here. So we have to store this for our later undo. So this would go in our undo data, whatever that particular thing is. So guess what? Remember when I said I did not need to, hold on a second. Let's go do a find on grouping stamps, stamp grouping. There it is right there. Remember when I said I didn't need to do this into its own class? I now think I do need to do that.
Okay. Well,
yeah, I think
we
I
did it with doubles, so you know.
I think I do because I need to store it because we're going both forward and backwards. I need to store. Well, actually, you know what? I can store it down here. I can store it in here. I can just put the field up here. So we're going to call this the stamp to ungroup, like that. That's going to be a type iStamp properties, or maybe iStamp group. I like that. And then we're going to come in and we're going to say this is equal, oops, is equal to stamp group, like that.
Okay.
Okay, and that is, what's my problem here? This can be iStamp group too as well. Because I'm pretty sure create group returns, does it return that? It does not. Let's have it return an iStamp group. Like that. And then let's go check out the event args and change group to that. Okay, that should build. Doing a compile right now. And we lost music again.
We have actually, yes.
What's happening with my music?
So we've got a group items which is then going to effectively record the thing that will need to be ungrouped when this is undone. Presumably, we will also be doing the same thing to the ungrouped. So they will each record things. So when it's interesting because each of them can be used in a forward or a backward context.
Yes. Yeah, so I'm right now working.
Makes the whole cognitive thing a lot harder.
Yeah, so what I'm doing is I'm storing this for the forward version of group selection, assuming, do I need to know for sure?
So it's the case that, so when you do ungroup selection, you test to see if there is a thing in stamp to ungroup, and if so, use that. Otherwise, use that which has been passed in.
Yeah, the problem is when I undo an ungroup, I come back here and then we get to this. Is this going to be problematic? I'm not sure. One good thing about being single valence, I say, is going to be extremely cheap as it's costing nothing.
No, it doesn't cost nothing because you got to show yourself, you know, that you care, right? So you buy yourself a nice steak dinner or whatever. Treat yourself properly.
Yeah, I'm an expensive date when I take myself out. All right. Well, let's try it. We'll keep going in the forward direction here. We might have to conditionally save this. In other words, I totally want to save this when I'm essentially doing the redo. In other words, the forward direction executing the first time, or the redo. I want to save that.
Yeah.
But holy cow, I'm not sure if I want to save that if my forward direction is to ungroup something, and then I want to
it's almost like your group selection needs to always be past the thing that it wants to do grouping on, and that your command, your sort of higher level, will decide what that is. Is it what I previously stored, or is it my selection?
Yeah, well, it definitely, I think, in the
so you could do the storing of things to undo and redo here in the switch, rather than in the group selection, ungroup selection.
Well, I'm doing not the storing, but I'm doing the decision kind of thing. And here is what I'm doing. Let me create an overload for this right here, and then I want to do this. Like this, equals new. And then I want to say this dot add the stamp group. So we're just going to ungroup this one thing. Then we're going to call ungroup selection, pass in map, and the stamps to ungroup. Like that. I noticed a grayed out parameter up here on here. We need to pass in the stamp. Wait.
stamps to ungroup as well, isn't it?
No. Hold on. This is wrong. This one goes here. Okay, this is why my tiny brain is like So if the operation is grouping and we're going in the forward direction, we're going to group. If we're going in the backwards direction, we're going to ungroup the selection.
Right. Yeah.
Pass in stamp to ungroup.
Because stamps to ungroup in this case, we need to remind ourselves it's the stored stamps to ungroup, not merely those that were selected and thus we ungroup.
Right. So that I feel like nails it. Except now when we go forward again, though, hold on. Let's see what our group is. Our group, we are working with our stored selected stamps. So those should be restored for us automatically using GUIDs. Right, Rory? We wrote this yesterday, remember?
I sort of agree, but I see where this is going. I feel like selected stamps is true for that situation, but for the reverse, it won't be. I feel like selected stamps should be passed into this from where you just were.
I am not quite there yet with you, but we'll see.
Okay.
Let's get there. Let's do this first. And when we get there, you'll be like, I told you, sucker, like that. And I'll be like, all right.
Maybe. I'm by no means certain of this.
You might say it. You never know. All right. So I've just changed this to use what we're passing in. And all this code does is it like, what the heck does this code do? It removes the stamps that we're about to group from the map. That's what it's doing right there. So, and I don't know. I'm not sure what it's doing. It's finding all the groups in the selection. That's what it's doing. And then it's adding them to an ungroup stamps thing to work on later. That's what's happening here, right there. And then down here, we're going to order by descending. So we're ordering them by Z order. And then we're going to go through all of them and we're going to remove the pieces that are inside them and add them back in is what we're going to do. What would be really interesting test to see if the Z order is restored carefully on this is to have a stamp on the bottom, 3 stamps above it, and another stamp on top. Take the 3 stamps, group them, and then undo it and see if they still show up in that middle of the Z order. That would be cool because what happens when we group is the group has the Z order relative to the 2 other pieces. It should show up right between them. All right, let's try a group and then ungroup. Oh, wait, hold on. Here we have this. And here's our ungroup in the forward direction. So we pass in selected stamps. Then the opposite of that is group selection. And group selection is going to work on selected stamps. This might work. Let's see what happens. If it works, we're geniuses, Rory. And I get back my those reputation points I lost a few moments ago.
Yes.
Yeah. It could be this show where Mark Miller gets his comeuppance. This is the show. Stay tuned. See what happens. All right. There are like so many people would love to be able to start changing the code in the background without me knowing it. Let's drop some doors on. Why not? Be like, I'm going to make Mark get his comeuppance for sure. All right, let's drop some fun doors on here. These are doors that have been knocked down. All right, so we got some doors like that. I'm going to create a group. Yeah, these 2 are right in between. I'm going to select both of those and group them. I'm going to just clear this and see what the behavior is. Play with it. Okay, cool thing is the group is right between them. Right?
That's good.
I'm going to go in the forward direction to ungroup them. Oh!
Well,
this one popped to the top. I'm not sure I like that. So we've got a problem in ungroup a little bit. But I'm not too stressed about it right now. That's a separate problem with the implementation of it, which we can look at. Let's go backwards. Let's do actually a simple
3
group.
things in the selection there.
I think only 2.
Oh, sorry, that's the bottom of the other one. Yep, no, my bad.
Yeah, so see that you can see these 4 here and these 4 here. I'm going to group them, and now I'm going to hit undo. Okay, it ungrouped them. Now I'm going to hit redo. It grouped them. The Z order problem is totally evident. It's popping them up to the top.
Yeah.
I think the second one that happened is not a bad one because this was already
It's
on the
not,
top.
because it's changing them to be the same as the topmost.
Yeah.
And since the topmost had shifted, it's still correct.
Yeah, I think we just have one bug, in other words. Let's undo, 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 undo. What's down over here? That's not good. That's a bad ungrouping. That's what that is. Redo, 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 redo. That's a bad ungrouping. It hasn't calculated the correct position. And it's like in outer space now. I can't move it back. Okay, let's see if we can duplicate it. Control G to group. Control Z to ungroup. Control Shift Z to regroup. Control Z to ungroup. Okay. Going in the forward
That's
direction.
looking fairly good.
Yeah, that does look good. Move. Control Z to undo. Undo. There's my ungroup. Control G. I don't understand. How did that bug occur? Okay, and then we're going to shift click on these. I'm going to group. And then I'm going to ungroup, or undo, undo, ungroup, undo. Interesting, the undo now keeps these kinds of selections here. So we got kind of both things selected. It seems like it's not, whoa, there we go.
Oh, yeah.
And
Just as you were about to say it was all working.
yeah, just what I was about to say.
To be fair, most of that did seem pretty good, so I'm not sure that there's much of an issue. It's just a case of spotting the pattern under which it occurs.
Yeah, and trying
It's
to,
the smallest possible recreation.
yeah, trying to get the steps to recreate it. 1, 2, 3. Let's try a group. Move. Oh, you know what we should try? Hold on a second. Hold on, I made a duplicate of it. Oh, that's super interesting. Hold on. We have more bugs than we thought here. Hold on. Shift, Control G. Then I Control clicked to drag this is what I thought I did. All right, so let's try an ungroup and now undo that. Okay, so our ungroup is not working well. It's just created a group with 0 elements in it.
Yeah.
All right, so our ungroup is not great. Our undo of ungrouping is not great. So let's look at grouping and look at this forward and just take a look at this. Group and then ungroup. That's not bad. My theory is that, so let's go forward, let's group, and now let's ungroup. Now let's undo it to go backwards. Yeah, we've got that.
I don't
And
think
then-
our ungroup
Oh, and then a
undoing
second-
has an implementation that we've looked at yet.
The second one, yeah, I think, so it's our undo of our ungrouping, hit undo twice, and we get to this state.
Yeah,
Or
but as I
reason.
say, I think, let me think about it, there's one permutation I don't think we looked at. And I can't remember which one it is.
Okay. All right, so here's the one we want to look at now, though. I group,
Yes?
and then I ungroup, and then I undo the ungroup.
I think that's where our problem is.
So let's look at that.
I think if you group and undo, you can then redo undo as much as you like. That's solid.
I
But
think it
if
is.
you do a positive, that if you do an ungroup and you try and undo that, that's where our issue lies.
Yeah, let's try this out here. Let's get a number of items in here, and we'll do several groups together here. All right, so we're gonna say 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna group those, And then I'm going to shift click on this, and we're going to group those. And looks like it.
Something weird happened there with a duplicate.
Yeah, I totally am with you. Looks like I got a second. It's the control drag thing is what I think just happened.
Yeah.
And we've got to fix control drag because it is I think messing with our. Let me ungroup all of these right here. Oh wait, this is actually the part I want to test anyway. So ungroup once, and ungroup a second. Ungroup a second time, and then now I want to undo those. And so there's that
This
state.
is where it goes wrong.
Yeah. Okay. So so let's do this now. We want to check our ungroup and see what's going on here. Ungroup selection. So my theory on this, ungroup selection, selected stamps. Oh, yeah. The problem is we're not saving. Oh, the selected stamps we need to work with is not the same that we start with.
That's right.
And I think what we need to do is we need to.
We're doing a save with our group that the undo for group can deal with, but we're not saving what we're ungrouping so that the group can deal with it.
Yeah, I think what we need to do is this. Every time you see this here, we need to also have a duplicate line for just the regular selection. And I think there's a shot that that'll fix it. So in other words, we duplicate this line and we remove that right there is what we do. And we do the same thing here. And I realize this is a little gross because I've essentially got the same thing twice. But if this fixes the bug, we can clean this up and make this more elegant.
I'm not sure that's the bug we've got.
All right, well, let's see. So I just ungrouped. Now I'm going to hit undo. And it didn't work.
Well, consider that the undo of an ungroup is executed by group. So we're actually editing the wrong code.
No, I don't think so. Oh, this is
your ungroup selection, which is the original operation in this case.
Yeah.
Not the reversal of it.
Yeah. I think what we need to do. All right, hold on. Getting closer, I think. I think the stamp grouping command. Well, that's in the data. Hold on. Let's do this, and let's have some conditional code, so we kind of are like this. And then let's do this, because I think this is part of what you're concerned about. If group operation is equal to group operation dot ungroup. Do we agree with that? Is that kind of what you were concerned about, Rory? Or no? No?
No. So I think if we ignore the edits you've done since you stopped messing with the actual usage of the program, we ignore those for now. I think you've got a perfectly working group command which can be undone. I think that works fine.
I think you're right.
Okay? But what we don't have is I think the ungroup command also works, but cannot be undone, because in order to undo an ungroup command, we have to call group. But we have no way to pass anything into it. It's still working on selection all the time.
Right, but we're modifying selection here.
But you're not. So if I was to, if I do my undo, this is such great terminology. If I do an ungroup, I should record the results of that and use it inside of the group command when I undo. And we're not doing that. These are asymmetrical sets of
You're close.
stuff being passed in.
Use it in the ungroup command when you undo. Yes,
But
in
we're
the
not
ungroup.
we're not doing an ungroup as an undo.
Yeah, we are. That's where we're failing.
The original operation is an ungroup. So it can't be its own undo.
Right, the original operation. So here, in the original ungroup, whoops, hold on, up here. Activate redo. There's an appalling lack of fanfare today. Who did we miss? We got everybody.
Oh, most of them
They got here before you. And Coding Gorilla, I owe you fanfare. I've been thinking about it. I'm like...
Okay, here's a simple way of putting it.
Almost done with my test.
I expect inside activate redo, we've got two branches. We're either doing a group or an ungroup.
Right.
I expect both of those operations to pass a map and both of them to pass some quantity of stamps. Because in one direction, those stamps will be the selection, and in the other direction, there will be something we have stored vis-a-vis the original operation.
Well, let's look at it. For group, we've got that, and we've got that figured out, right?
I'm all in with that, yeah. I think
Group.
the same
Notice in
the other way around.
notice in the forward direction, we don't use the selected stamps here, though.
Genesis 7, where are you? We need your help. Oh,
Genesis comes in every time.
I am.
I like that Codebase Alpha. I think it's better than what I was going to do. I like it.
Comment.
King Kong. You're right. Totally should. I'm now revising it right now. I will try to work on it this weekend. We'll see if I get some time to do it. Okay. We don't need to pass in selected stamps to group selection here, but we might need to modify group selection to do so. Here's the thing. Group selection doesn't take that because it's working on selected stamps. My theory is that this code here and here is going to change selected stamps in the command object itself in that instance, so that when it's time to ungroup, we got it. We're ready to go. We got the pieces. When it's time to undo the ungroup, the selected stamps are the ones that we now. Wait, hold on. This is in our ungroup. Oops, hold on a second. Ungroup selection. If we're ungrouping, we ungroup the stamp. Yeah, the selected stamps are now the stamps we need to group. Okay. So hold on. Yeah, so then that means when we go forward, oh man, see what I'm talking about? My tiny brain.
Well, it's difficult because you've got to stack this stuff and stack it and stack it and stack it, and then you need to refer to something before, and that's it. The whole stack's gone over.
Mm-hmm. Codebase Alpha's got a theory about the Brontosaurus. Yeah, never mind my theory. I would feel like I was close, and let's do this right now. Let's go in the forward direction. Let's power our way through this here. And we have look at this. I've got a low. I got a low upload speed.
Buffering,
yeah, I'm seeing.
There have been small periods of that. See, you're back now. Stream's up again.
Yeah. Why is the music?
So
What is so losing the music? Is somebody in the chat room turning off our music? It's weird how that's happening.
I don't recall seeing that. Oh.
There should be no changes that would affect the music in the playing. Let's see if we get past this song and then the next song. Okay. So here we go. Ungroup selection. We know this works. Basically, we know everything works except for here. This. And my theory is that this change was going to fix.
Oh,
this.
I see. So you're arranging. So it's interesting. Going in the other direction, you're not changing selection. You are capturing the thing
that we created,
that you wanted to do.
Yeah.
Right? And that's kind of what I was wondering about, is if there should be some form of capture for this command and its inverse. Now, don't get me wrong, both techniques can work.
Yeah, the reason hold on, group selection. Yeah, because group selection is always going to give me one piece at the end of it. I could actually, why not do the same kind of symmetry in the code? Maybe that's the way to go. Like, in other words, this should work. If my theory about down this is correct, then this should also work. that we're changing this, and the stamps to ungroup should be gone. And then we should just be calling Ungroup Selection here. But I actually have a feeling that this is going to break things, and there's something wrong about my assumption. Yeah, I'm basically going to, it's going to be selected stamps. Yeah, this is kind of the way I want to do it. This I want to work. Let's just put it this way. I want this to work.
Fair enough.
I want that to do its thing, but I also want this to be conditionally applied. But maybe I don't. The question is, do I need it conditionally applied or not? I'm going to actually come down and say, maybe I don't. So now what I'm saying is I want this code to work. Because it's simple and it feels like it should work. Ungroup selection, what's wrong here? Oh, I see. You don't need to pass in selected stamps anymore. Let's run it and see how much farther backwards I've brought us all. Let's cast Fireball spell meanwhile.
Getting hot in here.
Okay. All right, here's my group. Here's my undo of the group. Yeah, totally broke it. Okay. So let's go figure out what's going on here. Selected stamps. Why? Oh, I know why. Hold on. Selected stamps are reconstituted every time. I need a way of getting the goods from the stamps is what I need to do. That's my problem. I need a way. So hold on. Let's come back in and let's change some things in the code. I think we can get this to work. Yeah, and I think we clean up the code at the same time. Clear selected stamps. Why not throw the map at it as well? And then we're going to say add selected stamp and pass in map group. Got it?
Mm-hmm.
This is going to fix it. I feel good about this. Okay. Now we're going to do this. Then we're going to do maybe that. Like that. I'm going to come in and fix that. Don't worry. There's a little bit more. Let me just get this method declared. Get this off of my clipboard here. And then I want to take both of these. I want to go move them up into the ancestor class. Let's go. And where were we? Were we base command by chance? Yeah, here we go. I want to put this up here. And then I want to call. Update goods, stamp goods, like this. You feeling good about this yet, Rory? You feeling better about this?
I'm starting to feel pretty, yeah, a lot better about it now. I think you were right with the GUIDs.
We're going to clear that. And then we're going to do a for each on the selected stamps. I'm going to say stamp GUIDs.add. And I think for folks who are experts in link out there, you might help me out with a smarter way to do this. I think it's like a from and a where and all of that, but we're basically going to put the GUIDs inside the stamp GUIDs like that.
Okay.
That's my code there. Look at this. Code Rush is saying, what's it saying? Oh yeah, look at that. Okay, Code Rush, if you say so, we'll do it. Nice. Add selected stamp. We need to pass the map in as well. Don't blast Alf with your lasers. Genescu 7 is a friendly alien. Add selected stamp. What happened here? Is it the... Well, let's make it protected, actually. No, yeah, no. That one, yeah, this one is going to be protected right there. Okay, so add selected stamp. Add parameter, map. There we go. And then we need a similar call to update selected stamp GUIDs.
Yep.
Okay. I'm feeling better about this now. Okay.
Okay.
Cool. Next.
So
good.
We're planning. Well, are we? Obviously, a couple extra steps potentially, but we're still talking about grouping that is undoable and ungrouping that is undoable.
Yep.
Cool.
All right, here we go. Now we're going to come down here. We need remove selected stamp. Like that. Let's go declare that. Also, I need to check to make sure these parameters are... oh, good. There are iStamp properties. I wanted to make sure that was the case. Let's put this over inside of base stamp. A base command, I mean. Sorry. There it is right there. So that line, we have that line, and then we have update selected stamp GUIDs. Okay, so there's remove selected stamp.
Yep.
Followed by, you don't need this anymore. And then we need add selected stamp call right here. Let's make sure this was an iStamp properties. Okay, it's built. I think there's
Proverbial drum roll now, yeah?
I think there's a shot this is going to work. Okay. Having driver problems here.
Yeah. That was
on.
different.
Let's see, what can I do? I've seen these before, and I want to try. Let me bring my display properties a second. I'm gonna try and doing a little bit of a move on that and then apply and see if that kicks it in. That looks like that fixed it. Nope, did not fix it. Well, it fixed it on the stream, but not locally. Locally, it's flashing up and down for me.
Okay.
But I can look in my. How is it for you, Roy? Can you see it?
It's a little. Well,
Yeah, it
it's
looks
good
solid.
now.
It looks solid for you.
And then there were moments there where you would pass over stuff and
Oh,
it
yeah.
would become transparent.
Yeah,
There we
I can
go.
see that right now for your view, and it's happening on the stream's view as well. Look at that. Look at that display driver problem, kids.
That's great fun.
All right. What's my other option here? What's another good workaround for this?
Reverse time, go previous version of Windows.
Yeah, it's true. Was
Oh, you wanted workable solutions.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Everything's pretty calm here, though. That's not bad. I like that. Yeah, I don't have great workarounds on this. Switch that.
Windows Alpha's just had an update to NVIDIA drivers.
Yeah, I'll look at that. I'm gonna do that same thing. What's interesting is I went over to my fourth monitor, dragged a window, and the problem seems to have gone away. Is that?
Actually, it's fairly stable now for me.
Yeah,
And it looks like on the stream too.
that's really kind of weird.
Hey ho, that's a bit strange.
Yeah, it's a little weird. Okay, I got some egress here. Got some portals here. Let's throw some portals out into the room. Get some portals. 1, 2, 3. All right, 1, 2, 3. Group and ungroup. Look at that. Redo.
That's good.
They're grouped. Undo.
Yes.
Look at
Yes. Excellent. Command 1 proven.
that. Okay, now
Now.
let's go forward in the ungroup direction. So we're going to undo a group and then undo. We're at a group. Look at that.
Hey.
All right, let's start pushing it. We
Okay.
need that control drag problem. We really need to solve that. Where is that? What happens
I'm
during
with
control
Codebase
drag?
Alpha. Fourth monitor. I didn't want to say it, but there's someone else out there with me. So
It's
yeah.
the comedic thing about this is because I speak at conferences a lot, and because I have autism and I don't like change. I have insistence on sameness. I can't switch from like a laptop to a desktop, which means my laptop, in order to power everything you're seeing and be a dev machine and be able to be portable, boom, and take it somewhere else, is
Yeah.
super high powered. But so the funny thing is I've got 4 monitors. One of them is the laptop, but this laptop is just pushed to the limits, right? In terms of everything it can do, right? It's doing all this animation, all of this live
I was going to
streaming.
say, I mean, even driving an additional 3 screens?
Yeah,
Do you have an external graphics card or something?
kind of. I've got a, what is this thing called? It's called a UTech Smart, and it's a dual HDMI. So it's got a USB-C port, and then it sends signals out to 2 different HDMI cards,
Okay.
which is one of the things I've had. And let's see, that takes care of these 2. The other monitor is driven from the back of the laptop, and then the 4th one is just the laptop, screen itself. That was super awesome. We were really close to having that whole thing work the whole time. We just needed to remember that we had those selected stamps, and our architecture that we built, which was super sweet, was preserving that, right? Okay. By the way, I'm just noting our music is still playing, so
It is.
whatever was stopping it before, not sure what that was. Fred, you can hear it?
Just a happier set of music.
Yeah, happy to send music. All right, let's figure out our control drag thing. I don't remember what I called it. I think it's probably like going to be a mouse up, maybe.
This is kind of a drop or a copy.
That's a resize tracker. What? No. Maybe I've got it called copy. I don't remember what I called it.
Some earlier elements were driven on a timer.
This, I bet, is called by it. This is actually, I think, the thing we've got to change.
Didn't we break it apart? We had a copy which tried to be a move earlier, and then we broke it apart.
That's it right there.
There we go. Yep.
So the move selected stamps, is that part of undo? Yeah, that's sweet.
That's working fine. Yeah.
All right, so now we're going to do this. We're going to set a breakpoint there. We're going to make copy work. Oh boy, is this going to fix all of our problems? Are we going to be like done? Maybe. So now what we want to do is this. This is going to be a copy. It's going to take a move data. We got to stop. We can't do edit and continue because we need a new copy command. And we need all of this. Let's see what we need to do in here. Let's see what's going on here. Show selected stamps. Show selected stamps is a UI specific piece. I think we can put this here. So the UI specific piece can be here. All this does is it just makes sure that the selected stamps that we started with are still visible and we can see those. In fact, it may not be necessary. So that UI piece is removed. This looks low level. What's stamp.copy? Yeah, that's low level because it's in iStamp properties, so that's good. Good. Add stamp, we know how to do that. Copy stamps.add. Selected stamps, I think we can make this work too. All right, this is it. That all goes down low. We're going to have to create a new copy command because I think we don't have one yet. Let's go find our move command and base it on that.
And if we weren't using reflection, we could actually do this totally in edit continue at that point. But we recognized in the past that edit continue doesn't necessarily, well, not so much edit continue doesn't allow a created class to be recognized by reflection.
It's activator, it's activator.create is the call that dies on it. All right, so there's our copy command. And now that's not going to work. Next we need, all right, hold on. The undo is going to be to delete those selected stamps. Is that right? Holy cow, we might have a slight problem here. Let's create a new method, call it copy. And I think it's going to take an X and a Y. Yeah, it's going to take a, I think they're ints. X and a Y, like that. And oops, that's not what I wanted. I wanted all of that. Right here. We're going to call these delta X and delta Y. By the way, one of the things I love about this show is we are dog fooding Code Rush live while we're working. Look at that, sound just died. Switching to this, that means the drone game got reset. That means we lost the drone game on another one of the other views. I have to go through and look at the scenes and see how we did that. Okay. If I hit music again, will it work now? No. That's quiet and sad for me. It's not visible on this page. Ah, that's why. That's why we've been losing it. Every time we come back over here, it's been not visible. That's what's led to that problem. Okay. Anything big on the horizon for Code Rush? I talked about this yesterday a little bit. Well, from a standpoint of functionality, not huge, but we're doing some very clever things with regards to internally profiling and monitoring performance. The next release, which I think is coming out next week, is going to have some cool features with regards to being able to detect if Code Rush is causing a performance problem, and then getting data, being able to get data to our devs, you know, if you opt into that, to help us understand what's slowing things down and to help us attack it. It's some really, really clever code. And I think long term, we're going to, it's going to really increase the quality, stability, robustness of the product, the solid feel of it, and the speed, the responsiveness. So that's kind of cool. Later on in the year, you're going to see what is theoretically right now in a theoretical stage, a faster way to navigate through code. It's structural navigation on steroids, brought to you by Overkill Productions, and but I think it's like mind-blowingly the fastest way to navigate through code, flat out. And so we're going to do that this year. And it's going to be my hands first. I'm going to test it out and see if reality matches theory, and if it does, then we'll release it. So those are like two of the big things. I talk about these a little bit out on our the latest blog out at devexpress.com/mark. I'll put the link to that out there, so you can take a look at that. devexpress.com/mark. That's where you want to go. You can see that latest blog out there on the roadmap. All right, so copy. Looks like we need to add the map to our copy command. Like that. And I think that's it. And so now in our activate redo, it's going to be copy, and we're going to pass in. Notice we're going to have a big problem here. We got to fix that. Okay. But it's going to be copy map, comma, move data, delta x, dot delta y, like that. That's what it's going to look like. Okay, so there's our activate redo. Let's fix this. So put this up in base command. Then we're going to say map.selected stamps is equal to the copied stamps. And then we're going to also say selected stamps is equal to copied stamps. And then we're going to call update selected stamp goods. Oh my gosh, is this going to work?
It's looking good.
Okay. Let's rename this. Okay. Okay, so I think we have a forward direction copy working.
Okay.
I think I just want to test that. The undo, I think we're simply deleting them. What does our delete command look like? It's just that. I think we're going to come in here and I think that's it. We don't need our move data.
When we delete by virtue of this undo, we delete the items. That's all good. And then we redo again, which is the same as the original copy, the implementation we've got here. And we should be putting things back with the same identities as we created them in the first place. Yes?
Oh, well, I think we need to restore our selected stamps is what we need to do. Oh wait, no, hold on. It's copied stamps. These are the copied stamps when we need to do the undo. So we'll delete those. But then we want to restore the selected stamps now to be able for this to work again. I think that's what you're getting at, Rory. We need to restore selected stamps to the original selection. That's what we need to do.
Yeah.
we need to save the original selection. Oh, okay. So that's a little trickier. Do we need that? Yeah. We're going to have to do something here. Okay, let's do this. I've got two ways to solve it. And I'm going to go in this path right here. I'm going to say original selection. I'm going to get a bunch of goods for the original selection is what I'm going to do. And so I want to get a new list of goods here. Oops, that's move command. Hold on. Let's put this in its own file so I don't do that again. Okay. So we want a new list of goods. Like that. And we're going to say original stamp selection, like that. Okay. And then before we set these, I'm going to come in. I don't need to, I can just work with this and I can say do a for each stamp properties, original stamp selection dot add stamp properties dot good. CodeRush is going to help me turn this into a link statement. Go, like that. Okay. I'm not sure I like that better because I'm like, wait, what? It's a lot longer and I have to scroll, but okay. All right. So original stamp selection is there. Then when we come down here, then I want to do this. I want to say set selected stamps, and I want to pass in this, like that. And I want to declare a new version of this. I think I want a CodeRush feature request here. Here it comes. This is the other cool thing about doing this. All right. All right. CodeRush feature request, guys. Okay, so here we are. In the Ancestor class, I've got a protected set selected stamps. That's in the Ancestor base command. Okay. I'm going to hit declare method here. Well, okay, it's here, but all right, you know what? I've asked for this before, I think, and it's time to give it to me now. I want to be able to jump up and down through the hierarchy. If I hit a page up right here, I want to go, or control page up, I want to go up to the Ancestor base stamp command. And if I hit control page down, I want to go down to the descendants and maybe let me select which one, right? That sort of thing. I want to be able to go up and down from these and navigate them so that I can get these in the right place. That's what I want to do. So give that to me, kids. That's what I want. From here, declare method. Whoops, let me scroll up so you can see it. So I'm here, control dot, declare method, and now I want to be able to control page up to get to the Ancestor class to declare it. That's what I want to do. Do I have pull method up at least? Pull mirror up. There we go. At least I got that. And guess what? I want to pull it even further though. What? I can't pull from here? I need it in base command. Oh, look at that. I'm going to give that to you as a bug, kids. Yeah, it looks like a bug. All right, fine. I'll fix it myself. All right, let me go put the code in there. That's where I wanted to put it. I just want a quick and easy way to get it there. So I want the target picker up in the Ancestor class. Pull member up seems to have a problem as well. So we'll finish this up as, do I call this a feature?
That's a bug.
Yeah, that's a bug. I'm going to call it an issue right here. That's what we'll do. So it's both a feature request issue and a feature request. Target picker up, down through classes plus pull member up availability. Boom. There it is right there. Yeah, so I'm excited about the new perf stuff that we've got in CodeRush. It actually was a result of talking to the Visual Studio team and asking them, hey, how are you guys determining whether there's a perf problem or not? How do we get in there and party with you guys? And they were like, this is a private party, which I can't tell you how many times I've heard that, Rory, in my life. It's just like all the time. A lot of private parties going on. My wife, by the way, she's like, never heard that before. Okay, and what else was I going to say? I don't know. But they did give us some hints and suggestions, and our devs were working on it and working on the problem, and we came up with some clever things to both detect, profile, and report. And so yeah, I'm looking forward to the benefits of that. Those are
cool.
This is the kind of thing, like when we were first creating test cases for CodeRush, like 10 years ago, I want to say, for CodeRush for Visual Studio, I was proposing an automatic test case creation engine that could load up applications and build test cases for open source projects, things like that, for refactorings and things like that. And devs were like, what? But then we started building a bunch really fast and getting a whole bunch of test cases using tooling or whatever to do that. And those test cases are like the foundation of a lot of what we have. So that plus a policy where if a bug comes in, we can't fix a bug without creating a test case for the bug first. So so those kinds of things. The cool thing about that is that over time, the product just gets better. Yes. Right? It just gets better without anybody having to explicitly go do something, just as long as you follow the procedure and as long as you've got, all of these things out there. And so I really like the performance monitoring code that we've added in because the same thing's going to happen. It's just going to get better. So looking forward to that. All right. Somewhere in here, hold on. I need, what do I have in map? Do I have anything like set selection from GUID? Oh, I don't even have a map in here. I need to pass the map in. Hold on.
Presto, one map.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm going to go back to the original call. Okay. All right, what do we got in map? Well, let's see if dragging on the right monitor is going to fix this like it did last time. Nope, didn't fix it that time. But you're seeing it, Rory, and I'm seeing it on the stream. Oh, there you go.
I'm seeing perfectly good on the stream and here. I think it's just local to you.
Oh, no, there.
Maybe not, maybe not.
Yeah, it's a little crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, a little unpredictable.
Yeah, so I'm looking down on my other monitor at what that monitor should be showing me, and it's not. All right, so I wanted to see select stamps by GUID. That's what I'm hoping for, like that. And that's not here.
That's a single GUID, isn't it? Or...
And the other one above here is, what is it, get stamps? Get stamps. That takes the stamp GUIDs. And then I think I finally want to say my stamp GUIDs. No, it's this dot stamp GUIDs is equal to, whoops. At the risk of having the exact same name. Like that is what I was kind of imagining this is going to be. So select stamps by GUID. Let's see if this clears the selection first. Okay, we're going to go outside of here. It does. It clears the selection first. Right there. Okay. And we set them locally by going to the map and getting them. And then we also just set their stamp code speeds. So I think that's going to do it. That's what I think is going to happen. So that means when we undo, the original set that were selected will be selected again.
Yes.
Want to see if it works?
I do.
And then I'm going to shut down the stream. Go send you out to somebody else. We'll see you next week. Roy, I want to thank you for this week. You've been,
No problem.
you know, as usual, kicking butt, providing high quality
My
information. High quality information, Roy. Who's out there that we can raid? I really want this to work, right? With no thought or anything like that, with no bugs.
Uh-huh.
I just want to be like, all right, here we go. Oh yeah, I'm having.
So this is our control drag, undo and redo.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Of course, you know, with bonus driver issues.
Yeah, I'm seeing them. All right. Wow.
Yeah.
Let's go to my other monitor and drag something around. You gonna calm down over here, NVIDIA driver that needs apparent updating? Come on. Oh wow, yeah, that's. Hold on. Let me go drag you. Oh yeah, there we go. Now when I drag it, it updates it. That's crazy. Okay. I'm clicking on these. I'm not seeing them selected. If I drag it, oh man, look at this. That's crazy.
Wow.
I just clicked on this. I don't see it. And even on the stream, that's how it's showing now. And then I drag it and it updates it. I'm dragging it to a different monitor. Let's see what's going on here. And it works on the other monitor. Okay, I've just done the copy. As you can see here, there's my breakpoint.
Mark Double Pinky swears it's working. Honest.
Well, I say it's working. I mean, I can see it. So just now.
Well, true.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I think we can see it. There, I've just...
There are definitely 2 items selected there, and you are control dragging. And
yeah.
I see a duplication.
And so now I'm going to control drag these again. Control drag
Yeah.
over these over here. And
Okay.
so, oh, they popped up
Oh.
high.
That's
weird because I think it was,
a bit strange.
I was control dragging the ones I dragged. Did that make it? Should that make a difference? Let's try again. These 2 right here. Let's group those. Let's shrink them down. And dragging them. Yeah, it's absolutely insane the flickering that's going on. Now I'm going to control drag them down to the bottom right here. Like here. And now I'm going to let go.
Okay, yeah.
It kind of seems
And
like it jumped up.
a little bit. Yeah, second time that's happened.
Okay, now I'm going to hit Control Z, Control Z. Looks like that worked. Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z.
Can you redo back and create the small ones?
That's what we're going to try. All right, now I'm hitting Control Shift Z now. Let me switch over to the other view so you can see my keyboard. In a momento. All right, here we go. Control Shift Z. I'm not. Oh wait. Let's go back up here. Give the app focus. Control Shift Z. I can't tell. Got to drag it to get the update. There we go.
Definite changes, yeah.
Control Shift Z. Yeah, it looks. Well, I'm definitely seeing changes.
Something's changing. It's hard to be aware of what because there's this intermittent driver failure that's just obliterating everything.
Wow. And we got a bug. You know what? I think it's a good time to raid another channel. That's what I think. I got to go do some other stuff. What? My raid channel failed to load module? What? Twitch dashboard? All right, let me refresh my Twitch dashboard. Yeah, every once in a while you get a sign from the gods of programming that your
Time to take a break.
time is up for today, young man. My upload speed is good. My refresh on the Twitch stream manager is really slow. Okay, one more time. Clicking raid channel. Who do we got? CLW. Send you to CLW. Here comes the raid. Tell CLW I said hi. You got about 7 or 8 seconds before you're going to go over there. Kids, thanks so much for tuning in with us. We'll see you next week. Rory, thanks again to you as well.
problem.
We'll see you on Tuesday, right?
Will do.
All right. See you, kids.
Bye bye.